Hi, this is a presentation on time management. What is time? Time is something that is always moving. Time is always disappearing. The moment we have right now, it's gone. And so is that moment. And so is this moment. And now that moment is gone. Time is also never ending. Time can be a fixed period of measurement with a beginning and an end. A very definitive time from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., 1 hour. Or maybe it's a year from now, 10 years from now. Who knows? Time is something that can never be stopped. Time cannot be controlled, only managed. Time management is controlling what we do within a given period of time based on priorities, wants, and the availability of resources. It is how we schedule events within an open or closed period of time. Now, an open period of time would be, well, I'll get it done when I want to get it done. Maybe by the weekend, maybe by next year, maybe in 10 years. A closed period of time is between 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. It's a very definitive period of time. It's 60 minutes, that's it. Time is also how we prioritize events such as our sleep, our school, our homework, practice if you have, sports, choirs, bands. If you got online video games, you have to practice for that. And your free time, you actually have to prioritize that too. And of course, eating. That's a big one. Time management of events is also very important. Setting priorities of events. A lot of people don't do this right. It takes a little bit more practice than we think when we're very busy. What is required every day that you cannot live without? Can you live without sleep? Can you live without eating? I would say, well, we can go without sleep for maybe 24 hours, 30, 48 hours, but the payback's going to be kind of brutal. You don't have to eat for a day. If you're sick, you might not eat for 2 days. If you don't eat for 4 or 5 days, they take you to the hospital, stick a needle in your arm, and you're going to eat through an IV bottle. It's pretty simple as that. What is the next most important part of each of your days? Well, this varies from person to person. If a person's still in high school, well, it's going to the high school from, say, 8 a.m. till 2:35 p.m. If you're a college student, well, the most important part of your day is maybe just figuring out what you want to wear that day and what's the weather like. If you're a parent, well, do I do the kids first or me first? What comes first? Probably the dog. When we look at control versus no control in high school, we need to remember back, or maybe you're in high school, and take a look at how this affects you now. The control that we had is when you wake up. You did have control when you wake up. Whether it's an alarm clock, your cell phone, parrot banging on the door, dog jumping on your bed, cat sitting on your head, whatever it is, well, you have control of that because you don't have to wake up, or you can wake up. You have control of how you prepared for school. Maybe you take 4 hours to do your hair, or maybe you just throw a hat on and walk out the door with clothes on from yesterday or the week before. You had control of how you get to school. Do you walk? Do you take a bike? Do you ride a motorcycle, a car, a bus, horse, skateboard for some people? You had control over how fast you walked in between classes. The bell rings, you get up, and you go down the hall. Well, you drag your feet. Go to the water fountain, go to the bathroom, go to your locker, go across the building, and next thing you know, you're late. Well, there are consequences, but you have control over that. You even had the choice to go to class. Oh, my tummy doesn't feel good. I'm going to go to the nurse's office. And maybe because that's how you get out of chemistry. Well, that doesn't work real good either because there are consequences to that. You also have control over your study time. Now, you can have study hall. Do you have to study in study hall? I remember just sitting there staring out the window. That was okay as long as we didn't talk, chew gum, or eat because we weren't allowed to do that back when I went to high school. You also have control over the choice to participate in activities. Now, you could join a sport, you could join band, you could join choir. Whether you participate or not is up to you. There are consequences if you don't. Maybe you'll be asked to leave the team or to do penalties. You had control over free time. Believe it or not, you may think, I have no free time ever. You do. And by the end of this week and the end of the time management series, you're going to see how much free time you actually do have. You'll find it. You also have control over when you go to sleep. If you're an insomniac and you don't sleep, well, you still have control over it. You can still close your eyes and maybe fall asleep for a little bit. Things you did not have control over. You had no control over the bus schedule. You might think, well, if the bus driver sees me coming, they'll wait. Maybe not. Probably not. 9 out of 10 times the bus driver's not really going to wait. They have a schedule to keep. A lot of other kids count on them. You had no control over the start of your homeroom. 8:05 bell rings, ding, 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 whatever it is, you've got to be in your seat or you're tardy, you're absent, and, well, there's consequences, detentions. Class start and class end time, you have no control over that. Every single day, Monday through Friday, it's the same schedule over and over and over again until the next semester or the next year. It's always the same. No control in between classes. You did not control the 3 minutes to 10 minutes in between your classes. If it's a bell that's run in your school, you have no control over that. You also had no control over when to eat official lunch. Now, I know there's some eating allowed in high school these days because of blood sugars and all that fun stuff and attention spans, but you had no control over when that was in your schedule. You have no control when you leave the school property, believe it or not. You might think, oh, I can hang out forever. Most high schools want students who are not in activities off the campus or off the property for safety and security reasons nowadays. Very different when I was a kid. We could hang out all day, all night. Well, not all night. 11 o'clock was about it. You had no control over when after-school activities start, too. If the coach said you need to be on the 10-yard line ready to go at 4 o'clock, you had to be ready to go. Same thing with choir, same thing with band. You had no choice over that. You also have no control over the weather. You have no control over some illnesses. There's not that much difference. Well, there is. In control, you still have control when you wake up. How you wake up, you can wake up naturally, or you can use your phone, your smartphone, or maybe the old-fashioned alarm clock, or maybe a dog wakes you up, or a train. You have control of how you prepare for classes, and I guarantee you when you get down to Kent campus someday, or a very large university, you'll see kids walking around in blizzards, and I kid you not, in flip-flops, shorts, tank tops, and a baseball hat on backwards with the earplugs in, and it's just crazy. I don't know how they do it. Usually everybody's running and the parkas and the scarves and the hats, but it's up to you. Your control how you get to your classes. You have control of that. How fast you walk in between classes. There's no bells in college. If they are, they're probably fire alerts, and I've not heard one yet. So you have total control of how fast you walk in between. The choice to whether you go to class or not. If you're signed on right now, thank you for signing on. This is technically, you're in class right now. Your study time, you have absolute control over that. You have the choice to participate in activities. If people are playing Frisbee out on the fields, you can go and join them if they'll have you. You can do whatever you want on that. Your free time, you have absolute free control to control your free time. And when you go to sleep, some college students don't go to sleep that often. They stay awake, pull all-nighters. Don't recommend all-nighters. The scientists have proven they're not effective for learning and doing good tests. You did not have control over your class start time. Well, that's the same as high school. Classes start when classes start. You also don't have control when classes end. Professors generally don't start class early. Generally right on time. I start my classes pretty much to the second or two. I start going right when it's supposed to be. I treat it as a job, and it is, mine and yours. If you start seeing yourself not as a student, but an employee, watch how much more effective you might be, at least mentally thinking. You have no control over time in between classes. You might have a class at 10 o'clock to 10:50, and then 1:40 to 2:15, some strange times in college. Big gaps. You might only have class Tuesday, Thursday. You might have class Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Maybe some evening classes, maybe some online classes just like this. You have no control over when activities start. When the president of the club says, we're starting now, well, they're starting now. You also have no control over the weather and illness, just like in high school. You don't have control over the instructor's schedule. We like to publish when we have things, but you have no control over that. You also have no control over construction and power failures. Now, we didn't mention that in high school. This does come into play a little bit more in colleges because sometimes you're commuting, or in this case, you're online. If the power goes out, I was just messing with you. If the power goes out, power failure, it's beyond your control. When you're doing presentations in college and or high school, for some of you in high school, always stay on topic. Don't get sidetracked. Work your plan. Don't address friends in the audience who make silly remarks unless it can add to the topic, or if you pre-planned it to be that way
Again, you have to stay on topic. Don't take more questions than you plan for in your presentations too. This can greatly run you over. Know where questions might occur. Sometimes you make a very bold or brash statement or something very confusing in a theory or a statement. People might want to know answers to that, or they might want to ask, what do you mean by that? So be prepared for that. Don't be afraid to interrupt people to get back on track too. Sometimes people start laughing, and I've heard this before. I teach the speech classes, and people get sidetracked, and it destroys their timing. If you're running behind, you got to know what you can skip, and you got to know when to stop. Time management methods for your school schedule, college school or high school. Get up early every day to check and review your schedule. This is something really underrated. If every day you work a plan that you made the night before, your day will be so much simpler. And for those of you with complex lives, you know what I'm talking about. Simplify things. Get it out of your head. Get it on paper. Use your iPhone. Use your Android. Whatever you have. Use something. Use technology. Paper and pencil is considered technology. Get it out of your head. That way you can see it more clearly. Always be a few minutes early for class too to ask questions. Now, it's kind of hard in our online environment to do that, but get on the discussion boards because that's technically being early. Always combine course descriptions to have syllabuses to make a master syllabus. This is something really important. If you're taking 3 to 5 classes a semester, instead of going to 3 or 4 or 5 different folders, what do I have to do today here? What do I have to do today there? What do I have to do over here? Take all of that together. Make one large syllabus. Double, triple check it. Always check the due dates. And watch how much easier it'll be to go to one source versus 4 or 5. Because how many people do you know? And I know many, many, many dozens of people, if not hundreds, that have made errors of, oh my gosh, is that due tomorrow? Yes, it's due tomorrow. And they miss it because there's too much going on. Some people never miss anything. But if you're one of those people that like simplification, try it, see what happens. Always check for updates throughout the year, not just on the weekends or not on Monday morning. Every day. Sometimes professors do not use the internet like they should be. They maybe go in once a month or maybe once every 15 weeks. And they say, oh, by the way, the final is canceled. Yay! Well, I wouldn't count on that. We do not have a final, by the way, just in case you're wondering. But always check for updates. Also, don't be afraid to ask for clarification now to save time later. I'm going to repeat that again because it is so important. Don't be afraid to ask for the clarification of something now because it will save you a lot of stress later. Start projects early. If I gave you a project today and said you have a 10-page paper with a 10-slide presentation with 4 other people in a group and it's due in 6 weeks, well, 5 weeks left. But if I said that, what would happen? Well, people will probably wait 2 or 3 weeks and then start talking to people. And then the last 3 to 5 days, absolute sheer panic because nobody knows what's going on. Always start early, even if it's just your own project. Start early and it leaves room for error later. One technique I like to do is I like to finish simple projects first to clear my schedule out for the bigger ones later. I feel a sense of accomplishment. I feel a sense of completion when I do this. If I have 50 things on a list and I can cross 30 of them off in a matter of 1 hour of just little checky boxes, it's so much simpler. It makes me feel so much better. See how that works for you and let us know how it works in the discussion board. Other time management methods, but are not always recommended. I'm just going to let you read through these real quick on your own. I'm not going to go through these. These are what I call the time vampires. You all know about vampires, right? They suck things from us. They take our life's energy. This is what I call danger, danger, danger. And if you ever grew up with Lost in Space, you would know what I'm talking about. If not, check out Lost in Space on YouTube. It's really funny, whether it's the old original or the newer movie that was, and I'm going to date myself, maybe 10 years ago already, but it was a really fun movie. Beware of these time vampires. You've all been there. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying be aware and be conscious of how much time you're spending on this stuff. How to gain more time. Wake up earlier. Also, wake up at the same time every day, 7 days a week. Don't think on Sundays you could sleep until 1, 2 in the afternoon. Hey, I did it. I'm not saying again it's right or wrong, but if you wake up at 6 a.m. every single day, you might find a couple extra hours every single day. Once you're out of high school, life becomes very unsupervised. It's what we call an unstructured environment. There's no set time that you have to be in a seat at 8 o'clock or 8:10, or for some of you, unfortunately, 7 or 7:30 at some high schools nowadays. It's whenever you show up. I have students that show up constantly 5 to 10 minutes late. I think they just live down the street. Well, they lose points for that, and they're also missing out on a lot of crucial information and updates. So don't be late. Wake up early. See what happens on this. Go to sleep earlier. Now, this is a tough one. Waking up earlier is so much easier than trying to go to sleep. I was an insomniac when I was in high school. I hated sleep. Sleep got in the way of doing something else. It was just this interruption thing. Sleep now, yeah, I need 5 to 6 hours of sleep. I can get by on 4. 3's kind of a little close. If I get more than 7, it's too much. But go to sleep earlier and see what happens. Actually call someone on the phone instead of texting. How many of you have had text conversations that take all day long? Hey, hi, what's up? Don't know. You good? I'm good. What are you doing later? I don't know. Text me in 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Half hour. Hour goes. Wait a minute. How about pick up the phone? Hey, you free for coffee at 2 o'clock today? No. How about 2:30? Great. I'll see you then. Done. I'll tell you what. I've seen some fast texting in my life, but I guarantee a live phone call is faster, more efficient, with less confusion. Stay focused on topics too. Don't get sidetracked when you're under pressure. If you don't know what pressure is, you're going to find out what pressure is as we get older. Each day that we get more and more complexities in our life, life does tend to get in the way. News happens. Whether it's good, bad, or ugly, it can sidetrack us. Hey, give it some time and then get back on track. Again, this is a tough thing to do. It takes practice. Don't beat yourself up saying, oh, I always get sidetracked and I can never get back on track. Practice. Know that you're sidetracked. As soon as you are aware of a problem, you can fix the problem. And once you can fix that problem, you can start dealing with it and learn how to deal with that. You have to stay motivated too. Sometimes schedules get really tough. Not always, but most times. Motivation is very tough. I can teach you about motivation, but we don't have 10 years to talk about it. I should probably teach a class on motivation. I'm very capable of doing this, but we just don't have time. If you want to talk more about motivation, put it in the discussion board and we will have a great conversation about it. That's actually a really good place to talk about it. You also have to believe in yourself. Know that you can do something. This is really important. Maybe you faced a lot of failures, whether it's your fault, you have bad luck, good luck, whatever. I see luck as skill. People with good luck generally have skills that make things happen. So again, stay motivated, believe in yourself, and this can help in time management. Hardware and software that can help us are, well, cell phones, computers, day planners, a piece of paper. Now, don't just use, I've seen people scribbling on their hand. Stop writing on your hands. You go to wash your hands, it's gone. Put it on paper, get it on the cell phone. I've used my cell phone to take pictures of things. That is now my new administrative assistant or secretary, if you will. So use the technology for help. The 24-hour clock and how to build your day. This sheet is a PDF file in the time management folder. I want you to download this. You can also use it as a Word file. I've got that there too. Use this online. Restructure this. I have 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. on this. If you can do 8 o'clock or 6 a.m., you can block time this out. There's all kinds of ways. Fill this out for your day. This is also part of the assignment. I don't need this sheet back. When you're doing the self-management assignment, and I'll explain that in another video coming up actually, go ahead, look at this right here. This is somebody's schedule. I made this up. This is kind of all the things a college student might be doing in a day. There's a lot in here. How do you make that work? Most people will not keep that in their head. Most people can't keep this in their head. Your schedule might look like this. It might look worse. I didn't put the job hours. Maybe somebody works 9 to 5 and they do all night classes. Maybe they work the third shift and they're working 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. How about sleep? How about illness? Maybe somebody has allergies coming up and the medication's too strong and you're sleepy all the time. How about playtime? Any of you play? I play. You should play. It's good to relax and let your hair down, as they say.